this video, I'm going to be reviewing Rayman Legends. I want to note that I did 100% beat this game. I used gameplay footage from several of my stream VODs, and I will put the link to the VODs YouTube channel in the description to start the review. I think the simplest way to describe Rayman Legends is that it's a chill, fun, and simple platformer. The game doesn't have a whole lot of mechanics, nor does it have a very complex movement system. I want to be clear that just because I'm saying that the game doesn't have a whole lot of mechanics and it doesn't have a very complex movement system does not mean that the game is bad. The game is, in my opinion, absolutely fun. I'm sure the gameplay that you're seeing on the screen right now is pretty much telling you what the movement system is, but I'm going to explain it anyways. You can jump, wall, run, punch in every direction, kick in every direction, hover, ground pound, sprint, speed punching, and speed punching is just where you're sprinting and you're pressing like the punch button to go a little faster. And there's this guy named Murphy that can do things which I'm about to explain. Murphy is pretty cool, assuming you're not playing the Wii U version of this game and playing with a Wii U gamepad. Murphy mostly just moves things around, and even though this is all he does, he's still cool. Murphy will tickle enemies, slap spiky hands with eyes on them, and slap other enemies. He'll also move platforms around. This is all he does, but I still think he's a cool guy. Next thing I'm going to explain is the teensies. The teensies are these dudes trapped in cages, and you have to set them free, or not. You don't have to, since they are kinda sorta optional. You do need a certain amount of teensies to unlock worlds and levels, but you also don't need all of them. The king and queen have a secret room that they are hidden in and have some kind of platforming segment in them. The teensies are usually not too hard to find, but you might miss some of them sometimes, and me personally, if I missed one, I would just look up a guide to see where it's at to get it quickly. And what I'm trying to point out here is that it's generally not that hard to find the teensies. Something I want to lightly mention is the boss battles. I think the boss battles, while being simplistic and not very challenging, are still fun. I'll give one example of a boss fight that I liked. There was this boss that kind of looked like a boxer, and you were standing in this arena with lava and fire on the floor and fire sometimes around you. You had to dodge the boxer's punches, and at certain points you would get to punch him on the head. I just thought this boss was fun even though it was easy. I'm not going to spoil any more of the bosses in this video. I want to make it clear that this game is pretty easy, but just because this game is easy, it does not mean that it's not fun, and I think this game is still fun despite the fact that it's easy. Speaking of this game being easy, I just remembered the Invasion and Shadow Rayman levels. I'm going to dive into detail on both of those now. The Invasion and Shadow Rayman levels are somewhat difficult because you have to go through this trial and error thing to figure out how to get to the end in time to save all 3 teensies. The difference between them is that for Shadow Rayman, you have a clone of yourself that is copying your movements, and if you touch Shadow Rayman, die. I like these levels despite the fact that it was a trial and error thing, because I still found it fun trying to figure out how to get to the end in time. Something I liked about this game is that it allows you to go at whatever pace you want, except for some sections that will force you to run for your life. But the point I'm trying to make is that you can go through the levels at a slow, medium, or speed run pace. I went through the game at a medium pace and slowing down at some sections to find the teensies. It does feel very satisfying to go through the levels at a fast pace and have your jumps connect and have your punches connect. It just feels nice when you are going through the levels at a fast pace and everything connects. I like most of the levels in this game, and I think most of them are fun, and if you were to ask me what my favorite world was, I wouldn't be able to answer that, as I like most of them equally. I can think of 2 worlds that I didn't like all that much, and those 2 would be 20,000 Lums Under the Sea and Fiesta de la Muertos, I think is how you say that. I'm not too sure if that's how you say that or not. I didn't like Fiesta de la Muertos because in that world, a good amount of the levels, you get turned into a chicken. This chicken form in simplicity nerfs you, the player. It nerfs you by nerfing your movement, and what I mean by that is you can't jump as high, you can't run as fast, your punch and kick attacks get replaced with a headbutt, and the headbutt does not have as much range as the punch or kick do. Murphy's also eating cake and putting his slime on the wall to make paths and block things like lava. I just generally think that playing in the chicken form that has less movement options is not as fun compared to your human form. Something I want to make clear is that not every level in Fiesta de los Muertos you get turned into a chicken, so I don't think every level in that world is bad, but the ones where you get turned into a chicken I don't think are that good. When it comes to 20,000 Lungs Under the Sea, it's a world that has underwater levels that I don't like, and it has cool spy themed levels that I do like. The reason I don't like the underwater levels is because platforming is non-existent. You're just swimming around and avoiding obstacles. There's no platforming. Another reason why I don't like the underwater levels is because you're not moving as fast underwater compared to if you were on solid land. I would like to reiterate that I think the spy themed levels are cool and the entire world is not bad. The positive point I want to make is that I like the music levels. I think they're cool. The way that you are moving through the level to the beat of the music is cool. I also like the music that is playing during the music levels. Some of the music is original, but most of it is based off of an already existing song. Something else about the music levels is that I thought they were so cool that I made a video clipping together all my successful runs going through the music levels. Another positive point I want to make is that some of the levels from Rayman Origins are in Rayman Legends, and they've been remastered with the art style that Rayman Legends uses. I originally thought that all the levels from Rayman Origins were in Rayman Legends, but turns out I was wrong, and Rayman Legends only has 40 levels out of the total 66 levels that Rayman Origins has. It would have been cool if all the levels from Rayman Origins were put into Legends, but it's still cool that a good amount of them made it into Rayman Legends. I think the Rayman Origins levels are just as fun as the Rayman Legends levels, so it's a cool bonus. I want to dive into detail about the chest chase levels because I think those need explanation. The chest chase levels are exactly how they sound. It's a level where you chase this chest to the end and you can't get it early, and you have to keep up with it and dodge the obstacles and do some platforming. I would consider these levels to also be trial and error, but I still found it fun to figure out how to get to the end and beat up the chest. Something I need to point out is that they changed the design of the chest in Legends and removed his eyeball for some reason. Another type of level from Back to Origins that I want to talk about is the Mosquito levels. I hate the Mosquito levels, and the reason why I hate them is because the whole thing with these levels is that you ride this mosquito and shoot things and hail things, spit those things back out, and dodge obstacles. There's no platforming in these levels, and I found them annoying. I also think the Mosquito levels are just filler levels. I think the Mosquito stuff, having a small section and a king or queen room, is not as bad as having an entire level dedicated to it, but even if that one level just had a small section, I found it annoying and it still felt like filler. I might also end up buying Rayman Origins at some point and do a playthrough that, since Rayman Legends doesn't have all of Rayman Origins levels. The next thing I want to talk about is this game's art style and graphics. This game came out in 2013, and I think the graphics are still impressive, and I think the art style they picked for this game, which is hand-drawn, is done well. I really liked the art for this game, and I think it aged very well, and not only just the art and graphics, but overall I think this game aged very well. It's time to give the score. I'm giving Rayman Legends a 4 out of 5. That's about it. See ya.